A lot of people usually ask me how I get my whipped cream this smooth and stable, and honestly, there are quite a few little details that makes a huge difference. Nobody talks enough about how satisfying smooth whipped cream cakes are. Watch me turn whipped cream into something this clean. This sharp edge and drip combo, I'm totally obsessed with it. Everything I'm going to be doing in this video would actually really look simple, but trust me, there are so many little things that helps make whipped cream easier to work with. So if this is something you're interested in, sit back, relax, and watch. Hi, my name is Fifi, and welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I get really smooth results with my whipped cream. So first off, of course, you know you have to whip your cream, right? Yes, you have to whip your cream. For exact measurements and the brand of whipped cream I use, I have an online class that shows you the details about that one. So I already whipped my cream, and then I'm just applying it on my cake. Yes, some people tend to use piping bag to apply their cream, but I'm not used to piping bag because I feel like when you use piping bag, you get to like waste a whole lot of whipped cream. That's my opinion. Anyway, I'm not saying that's the fact, but that's my opinion. So I prefer to apply my whipped cream onto my cake with my palette knife. Now, when you're applying your whipped cream onto your cake, try as much as possible to just take little at a time because a little goes a long way. As you can see in this video, I kept on spreading and spreading. Try as much as possible to also not overwork your whipped cream. When I say overwork your whipped cream, when you take a whole lot of whipped cream with your palette knife and then you're trying to spread it onto your cake, the more you work on your whipped cream with your palette knife, the softer your whipped cream becomes. Another thing you should note is whipped cream would melt at some point. All you need to do is get the trick of how to work with it, like get the trick of how to work with it without it melting on you while you're working on it. Do you get my point? And then also understanding how to transport your cake and all of that. All of this is detailed in my online class anyway. So back to this. So you can see I'm taking a little at a time and I'm spreading because a little actually goes a long way. You can use a piping bag to spread your whipped cream on top of your cake, but I've always used a palette knife. I'm not used to using a piping bag because I'm not used to it, number one, and because I feel like you're going to be wasting a whole lot of cream. But if you're just a beginner and you actually do not know how to work with the palette knife properly, you can try using the piping bag and then use your smoother on it. So yeah, I'm using my smoother and I noticed some parts that were not properly covered and I'm just applying a little bit of whipped cream to cover those parts properly. Another thing I do is when I'm working with drips, like if I'm going to be dripping on a cake, I don't use a cake comb because I usually prefer a smooth finish. I think it usually makes the drip come out really well. And then if you notice I was using a plastic smoother, so I realized that when it comes to whipped cream cakes, this plastic smoother I'm using in this video, it's a game changer. Like you should try to get it. It makes it very easy for you to work with. Like it smoothens your cake really well. Now for my edges, this triangle cake comb as well. I've had this triangle cake comb since I started business like over 10 years ago. Yes. So that plastic smoother, that white one I used, and then this triangle cake comb, both of them, that's all you need for you to get it. I'm not saying other kinds of smoother or cake foams would not work, but this is what I've always used over time. This white smoother, you can use the metal one if it works fine for you, but I just realized that when you're trying to get that smooth finish, that white smoother, that's the secret. Although I'm not saying that's not to say that other kinds of smoother won't work, but I'm just telling you that's what has been working for me over time. And then once I smooth it, I usually smoothen my cake multiple times until I'm satisfied with the edges. Yeah, so if you're a perfectionist like me, you will do that. So each time I smoothen with the white smoother, I go over the top with the triangle cake comb. You can also use a smoother to do your edges. So depends on what works for you. But I usually prefer to use the cake comb. It works fine for me. So as I said earlier, I usually go over the sides of the cake multiple times until I'm satisfied with the edges of my cake. So you go over the side. Then once you use your cake comb on the side, you have a little bit of excess on top. You use your cake comb on top as well till you're satisfied, and that's it, like for my edges and for the smoothness. So you can see how clean this looks. You can see how sharp the edges are as well. You don't get sharp edges only with ganache or buttercream alone. You can also get it with your whipped cream cakes. Yes, I said that. So now to the chocolate ganache for your drapes. So I have a video. I mentioned earlier I have an online class. Also in that online class, I taught how to use Hollandia evaporated milk to get your chocolate drips. Yes. The normal chocolate drips, the normal ganache, you're supposed to use heavy cream and chocolate. But then again, Hollandia evaporated milk works fine. Don't get me wrong. If I'm going to be covering my cake in ganache, maybe I'm doing white chocolate ganache. Definitely, I'm not going to be using evaporated milk. I'll use the proper thing, which is heavy whipping cream. But then for your drips, you can see how shiny this looks. You can see how controlled the drips are. So it's not like you're using a cheaper version and it's not working fine. It still works fine. It tastes amazing. So it's not like the taste is different or the quality you're getting is different. It still works really fine. So if you want to get the measurements and all and how I do it, you can register for the whipped cream class. That whipped cream class is actually really loaded. In that class, you learn upside down drip, you learn how to make chocolate molds, how to do my signature, my best-selling chocolate transfer sheets. You get to learn how to do that, how to work with that, how to work with chocolate molds, chocolate transfers, and then you also learn how to make my best-selling cake top forward. Yes, you learn that in the video. The video is actually really the class is actually very loaded, and it's just 15K, just 15,000 naira to learn all of these things I mentioned. So you can see how shiny the chocolate drips, how it looks. So it's not like you're using a cheaper version and you're not getting quality. You can see it for yourself in that video. Hollandia evaporated milk and chocolate is what I used to make this chocolate drips I used in the video. So from your whipped cream consistency to the chocolate ganache to the chocolate molds and chocolate transfers, I have all of this in my online class, and then you also get a bonus class which is the upside down drape, and then my best selling cake top forward is also part of what you're going to be learning in the online class. So there she is. You can see how good this cake looks already after all the smoothing, all the scraping, and all the emotional support required to make this cake. This cake is ready and she's all glammed up. So if you enjoyed watching this transformation, make sure you subscribe for more cake videos because Fifi is officially outside on YouTube now. I promise to stay consistent this time around. I'm not going to go MIA on you guys this time around. So don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment and share this video if you found it useful. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.